What's up, everybody? Would you like to know the 5 deadly sins that could kill your microblading business and how to avoid them? That's our subject for today on the 6 Digit Club podcast. And guess who I've got? Amanda Breuer's back. She's back.
Hi.
Stay tuned. Here we go.
Would you like to achieve 6 figures from your microblading and permanent makeup services? Well, let me welcome you to the 6 Digit Club podcast, where we deliver to you actionable strategies, inspiration, and a little humor along the way. We want to help you to join a growing list of microblading and permanent makeup artists who have become members of the exclusive 6 Digit Club.
And what's up, everybody? All right, so I am Glen, your host of the 6 Digit Club podcast. I've got today with me Amanda Breuer. Amanda, say what's up to everybody.
What is up, everybody? So excited to be here. We have so much to cover today with you.
All right, so Amanda is an amazingly successful microblading artist. She came through our academy and she's grown into an absolute superstar in the world of microblading. So I asked her to come on so that we could talk about these 5 deadly sins that could kill your microblading business and how we can avoid them. So we've got a lot of content prepared for you today. Amanda, you ready to do this?
I am so ready, you guys. This is so much value in one pack. We couldn't even cram it all in here, you guys. We have so much to talk about.
All right, awesome. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in the below this video or around this video somewhere. Anything that we're going to talk about that you'd like to hear more about, or something that perhaps we don't talk about. If you'd like to hear about it, put it in the comments and we're going to review those comments and we'll make sure that we add it as content for future podcasts, okay? If you get some good value out of this, what should they do, Amanda?
Share, comment, share it again. Let's get it everywhere, you guys. This is big. This is amazing stuff.
All right. And post, tag a friend that you think might get some good value out of it.
Tag, yes.
All right. And if you want to follow, by the way, Amanda, it's Eastside Microblading on Instagram.
Yes, I'm about to hit 5,000 followers on Instagram. So I'm so excited about that. So it's Instagram at Eastside Microblading.
Okay. Amanda, what are the 5 deadly sins that we're going to talk about today? Let's quickly summarize it, and then we're going to get into them.
Okay. Number 1. Oh my gosh. Let's see here.
The first one, I think, is taking initiative, right?
Taking initiative.
All
Number
right.
2, focus. Number 3, errors in execution with your service. Number 4, missing opportunities for content and referrals. And number 5 is focusing on profit too early in your business.
Okay. If you can avoid these 5 things and instead handle these areas of your business in the right way, it's going to make a tremendous difference on your success, especially in the very beginning. When you're getting started, all right, you've got to make sure that you get the roots in the ground. Okay. And we're going to talk about what that kind of means. So let's get into it. The first one is taking the initiative, right? So I think a lot of people, perhaps they came, Amanda, from a job before they got involved in this. Maybe they were working in the bank, or maybe they were, working in a dental office, or whatever they were doing before. And so you can't treat this like it's a job. You've got to treat it like it's your baby, and you've got to take care of it, and you've got to nurture it, and you've got to provide it the food and care and love that it needs in order to grow. Because in the beginning, nobody really knows about you, and you have to make sure that the world knows about you, and you answer the questions. What is microblading for your audience? Why should they get microblading with you? And why should they get microblading now, right? So, Amanda, what are some thoughts that you have on taking the initiative?
Well, and you know what? I think I've heard this a lot too. Because not everybody goes, and Claire has mentioned this, not everybody does this as a business. Some people are working at salons and spas, but you still have to have the same mentality to grow your client base, and to become a well-known artist. So I hope that if you do work at a salon or a spa, or you are a W-2 employee, you can still utilize all of these principles to build your clientele, because ultimately you still want to be busy and you can make a great income utilizing these. So we're going to talk about these. So even if you're W-2, pay attention. But I think the biggest thing is nobody's going to do this for you.
Yeah.
It's not like, Glenn, it's not a clock in, clock out situation. It's not, I only do it between these hours. It's no, this is your baby. Like you said, you've got to grow, you've got to water it, you've got to fertilize it, you got to let it grow. Hopefully it's like bamboo where you grow it right and then it sprouts like crazy.
Everywhere.
I love bamboo. Yeah. And so just having a 24/7 mentality and just being excited about putting in the work and not seeing it as a sacrifice, not seeing it as, oh, I'm working so hard, to get it going, but being so proud, like that grit. I was so proud to be up at 2 a.m. sometimes, like working on my Instagram or my website, or creating new content, because I was like, gosh, this is going to be so good. And I know a year from now, I'm going to be so glad that I took the time to do this. I know I'm going to be so excited that I took that time.
And you've got to be, some people are planners, some people are organized, and some people sort of wing it, and some people are more emotional, and everybody's different,
Yep.
But whatever works for you, whatever plan works for you, you want to execute on that plan. But one thing is for sure, if you look at, if you're watching this and you're like, you see Amanda and she's very successful, or you see any of the other 6 Digit Club members that we bring on these podcasts, and you see how successful they are. If you've never made $100,000 a year, for example, and you want to make $100,000 a year, to achieve that level of success, if you've never achieved it before, it might take doing things differently than what you've done in the past. Because if the approach that you took in the past produced a certain level of achievement and success, and I'm not making this, the end all be all of, if you're not financially successful, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm just giving you an example. Like, if that's your goal, if you're looking for the financial freedom that comes along with this opportunity, and the rewarding and the fulfillment, that experience of working with these customers and having your own career and business and all the rewards that come with that. If you'd like that and you've never created it before, then it's probably going to take you doing some things that you've never done before, an approach that you've never done before. Maybe you need some accountability because it's maybe about yourself, like it's hard to stay focused, which, by the way, is our second subject we'll talk about in a second. But maybe that you're afraid to take the initial steps. Maybe you're afraid to invest the money, and you think like you should just be investing in the course and there's no other investment that you should make, which is not the case. This is a tremendous opportunity. You treat it like a serious business, it's going to reward you like a serious business. You treat it like a little side hustle thing, it's going to be like a little side hustle thing, So I think that it's very important, like Amanda is describing, that you sort of, you take it with the seriousness that you want out of it, and you don't wait for somebody else to do it for you, because no one's going to show up at your door. No one's going to knock on your door and say, hey, listen, can I help you with this? Can I help you build your microblading business today? What can I do for you to help you grow? That's not going to happen. Amanda?
No, it's a lot of work up front, but now just to put it in perspective, that work that I put in at the front end when it came to the effort, the marketing, treating it like a business, having that mentality. I'm at the point now, I don't advertise now. I'm fully booked months in advance, and all of my online booking is automated. It is so simple now, but you have to build your foundation and you have to put in that effort. And it's the same for everybody. It's not just you. And all of those road bumps, those struggles, those emotional ups and downs, the fear, you've got to know that we all go through it. It's not just you, it's all of us. Yeah. I've told Glen, my husband has told Glen that I cried so much starting out. I was a wreck, you guys. So you can do it. It's just, if you do treat it like a business versus a hobby, like Glen said, the results will be a business level result. And I know that's what so many of you want. And so I would just encourage you to treat it that way and really step up to the plate and make it happen.
I just want to share something with everybody real quick. I forgot to mention this. Hold on, let me just bring this up. So you see here under business building programs on our website, microbladingacademyusa.com, you can see we have these business building programs. And for those of you who are watching this and you're like, yes, I want to do it. And you're so fired up from this conversation, but you don't know what to do. We have this microblading career roadmap. We created this to sort of give you the 6 months of, here's what you do. Here's exactly what you do. This is actually built around what Amanda did and several others like Amanda who are very successful. Like literally step by step, here's what you do. So you can get that. You can also get your first 10K from microblading. So many, I can't believe people still come to me and they're like, what do I do? And we're talking about this all the time. And I always send them to your first 10K from microblading, because these are conversations with our most successful microblading artists who've built very successful businesses. And it's just about how did they go from 0 to their first 10,000. That's all it's about. And it's like almost 5 hours of interviews like this with very specific, actionable things that you can do. So, regardless of whether you take initiative or not, you need to know what to do here. And so,
what I love about those two, Glenn, is like you said, it features multiple artists. They're artists that think differently and that have different strengths. And so some things we say may resonate with your strengths and some may not. You're like, okay, I'm not a planner. I am more fly on the go. You're going to hear that from people that are the same way and how they made it happen, And so that's what I love so much. It's not catered to one mindset. It really it gives you a full picture and it gives you that step by. Sometimes we need someone to hold our hand a little bit. And I feel like that's what it is like for what we've created there.
Yeah, totally. All right. So number 2 is what?
Is focus.
Focus. This will be, oh my God, it's so important, not just in your microblading business, but in your life. If you want to achieve anything, forget about strategies and how do I get there and this or that. If you're focused on it and you make it like your singular focus, like I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to build a microblading business, I'm going to build my microblading career, even if you're working for somebody else or in a spa or however you do it, I'm going to do this. And you're so committed to it that it's like constantly on your mind when you wake up in the morning, it's on your mind when you go to sleep at night. The plan that we talked about in the first subject that you came up with, you're always thinking about where am I relative to these plans that I'm making. Like that's the obsessive focus that you need to have to achieve the success that is really remarkable, where you can experience like the fruits that this career and this opportunity has for you. Now, if you're not a crazy person like I am or Amanda is, and you don't want to be obsessed with microblading and building your microblading career every single day, all day long, from the moment you wake up to the moment, you don't have to do that. But I'm giving you just kind of an example. If you do want to get to those heights where, like Amanda, you don't need to advertise, you're booked out months, you're making great money, you're also enjoying incredible, like describe some of the benefits of working with clients and the appreciation that comes. Describe that real quick, because I know we're putting emphasis on money, but describe that aspect of it.
Well, there's a few, gosh, when someone comes in with 0 eyebrow, like last night, I had a client that her daughter just passed away last week. She waited months to get in. She still made it to her appointment. She had 0 eyebrow hair. She's 72. She was really sad. When she saw her eyebrows and she was leaving, we were both in I'm getting emotional now. It was probably one of the most emotional appointments. And just to be able, I have goosebumps. It was like the best night. Like you go home just feeling like I added so much value to how she feels about herself, to her grieving process right now. I know that's getting a little deep, but you become a part of people's lives in a sense, and you create incredible friendships with these people. And you're able to have some amazing conversations within a 3-hour appointment. And I love that. And it's to the point now too, where it's exciting, where I'm doing billionaires brows. I'm doing top people are flying in I had a client fly in from China to have their brows done. It's exciting. I love that stuff. And so it's intimidating as heck, I'll tell you that. But there's so many different things that have just been so rewarding and so fun, and so emotional. But it's so cool, you guys. It really is.
So to get to that experience, forget about the money. Forget about the money. Just to get to that experience, you have to have a successful microblading career and business. You have to get there. So how do you go from 0 to get there? Forget about the strategies, because we've talked a little bit about, we've given you tools that you can follow and all that stuff. You have to be focused. You got to be focused on it and make this a must for yourself, and squeeze. And I describe it to some people. I heard this a long time ago. I heard somebody say this. I don't know where I heard it, but it stuck with me for a really long time. Somebody said to me, it would take you, 6 months to get to this or that, and it's going to be difficult. And somebody responded saying, I could hold my breath for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? It's that mentality, you know what? If I had to squeeze for 6 months, like really squeeze, like waking up early. I got to go to sleep late. I got to do extra work. I got to do the hard stuff. And it's not going to be that comfortable. And I have to have conversations, if I'm not that comfortable promoting myself or talking about sales, I know I have to do that, and I have to knock on doors or talk to influencers or talk to the person at the tanning, the manager at the tanning place, which I don't really want to do that, but do it anyway. Just do it. Just do it, because you can hold your breath for 6 months. Hold your breath for 6 months. When you're done with 6 months of intense focus, you're going to be so far along in your business that you're going to be experiencing those magical moments that Amanda is talking about. The money will come with it. The money will come. Of course, you need to be applying yourself in a productive way. And that goes back to the strategies, and that goes back to your first 10K program and the roadmap and doing the things that are going to help, grow your business. But if you have all of those things, but you keep getting distracted, and what are some of the things that distract you? Like we can go into this because they're everywhere. Your brother, your sister, your mom, somebody's going to say something to you when you're struggling, and it's going to deplete your energy, and you're going to be like demoralized. And if you're not accustomed to facing the adversity that you'll face in business, it's going to be very challenging for you to keep your focus and to be resilient. And you've got to be, when I say resilient, that's part of your focus, right, Amanda? You just got to keep going at it.
Well, and I think too that it's a growing process. You're not going to go into it feeling really strong. You're going to go into it with a lot of fear, you're going to be very unsure. You're going to hear comments made like, oh, the industry is saturated. Oh, I heard microblading this or that, or, there's people doing it down the street for super cheap. How are you going to make money doing it? I've heard all of that. And the thing is, the people, and the 80-20 rule, we've referenced that in last podcast. If you really separate, it doesn't take much to separate yourself, you guys. That's really what it comes down to. Not everybody. It's kind of like going to the gym. How many people at the gym really go 2 to 3 times a week? If you're one of those people in the microblading industry that shows up 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 days a week to the gym, you're going to be in that top 20% and you're going to be fully booked. It's that simple. It's a very thin line between your success and your demise in this, and not just this industry, in any industry, right? And I think that you've just got to have that right perspective. And I think that if Glenn, if you and I were to make a list and we were to say and put a job listing on Craigslist right now, and we were to say, here's your job description, here's what you're responsible for, and you're going to make $100,000 a year. I think that 80 to 90% of people would go, I would totally do that for $100,000. But the thing is, it's a job. Somebody's on you about it. But for some reason, when it's your business and it's just you and it's not a job and you're not clocking in, clocking out, you don't treat it as seriously, although that same income opportunity is still there. And so if you struggle with that, pretend that you have a boss looking over your shoulder and that's part of your job description and get it done. Make that income for your family, for you, right?
Totally. It sort of goes back to the first subject of taking the initiative, which you can't wait for somebody to do this for you. And when we say do this for you, we're talking about if you have, you need accountability. I have a partner in this case, in my business, that I'm accountable to. I have in my life with my family, I have accountability. I've created accountability, people that I have to answer to. I've put myself in positions where I have to answer. I've told people about what I'm doing. And if I don't go and do those things, it's going to be pretty clear I'm not doing the things I'm supposed to. No one's going to put that accountability you got to put the accountability in place. You've got it. So maybe you tell the world publicly, you want some accountability, you want some leverage on yourself to keep yourself focused. Go on Facebook, do a Facebook Live and say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in the next 2 months or 3 months. You're going to watch me do it. You all are going to watch me. If you did that, people are going to, you have your whole social media, everyone.
Pressure's on.
You just created accountability for yourself, but most people are not going to volunteer to do that. Now you could do it with perhaps one particular person, your spouse or your mom. Honestly, I don't even think that's strong enough. I think you need to have something on the line. You need to have something that would hurt if you were not to fulfill it, that it would be either embarrassing. This is speaking for myself. This is how I like to do it, that it would either be embarrassing or you would lose money. And those are triggers.
You're negatively motivated though. Some people are super positively motivated too. There's, and so you got to figure out what motivates the heck out of you.
Right. Good point. Good point. I'll tell you what, all the things that I'm working on today in my own business, I'm super excited about. I wake up and I can't wait to just build more of it. It's like my son, my older son, my 8-year-old, he wakes up in the morning on a Saturday. He can't wait to jump on this Xbox and play his video games. And like, he's in this world where he like builds houses and stuff. And he can't he literally he'll wake up at 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday and I hear him. He's like, what the heck is this kid doing? He can't wait. He can't wait. He's been dreaming about it. He's like, Daddy, can I work on a little bit more on Friday night? Saturday comes, he's like, boom, he's up and he wants to work on it. If you have that level of focus in your business and you're so excited about what you're working on, and at the same time, you have the accountability for yourself. If, like Amanda said, you respond to the negative push. So there's push and pull. We don't need to get in that level of detail, but just put that in place. Keep yourself focused. What's number 3, Amanda?
Number 3 is errors in executing your service.
Oh my God, this is so important. There's so many errors that everybody makes. You want to start off with a couple before I go?
Yeah. How about taking clients that you probably shouldn't?
Why is that such a no-no?
If you haven't experienced,
how could that kill? How could that kill your business?
Because if you take clients you shouldn't, there's a million different ways it could go wrong. I mean, contraindications medically, covering previous PMU that's going to look like crap if you work over it, right? A ton of different things, not managing client expectations up front. So obviously they would probably be a very unsatisfied client when they're healed, right?
What happens when you have several unsatisfied clients, especially at the beginning of your business before you're really well established? What happens?
This happens. Yes.
Describe what happens. Like, how does that begin to take effect?
Well, number 1, you have to deal with the stress of an unhappy client or a bad review, and try and make up for that. And you're not going to get referrals out of that. And hopefully they don't post it online, right? And that's another topic too, is how to deal with unsatisfied clients, right? Mm-hmm. But I think another thing too is when clients come in and they want I shouldn't say a weird shape, but they want a shape that doesn't look good, or they want a color that won't look good, because ultimately as a professional, and this is what I tell my clients, it was just yesterday, I turned down a client very politely because she wanted a rainbow. She literally wanted McDonald's rainbow because that's what she was used to. And her brows started really far back. So to have a rainbow like that, I'm like, no. But I had to be very polite about it. And what I did is I took an actual makeup pencil and drew it in very softly the way I recommended it. And I told her, I said, hey, why don't you just go home and show your husband and ask a few friends what they think of this shape on you? Because I understand that change is hard and difficult, but I cannot, as a professional, I don't advertise. So you are my walking advertising. And so I cannot do a shape that I don't think would look good. And I told her, I said, it's not a matter of you looking beautiful or not, because I think you're beautiful. It's a matter of me representing my brand and my work out on the street, because your friends will all tell you it looks good, but unless they book with me, they don't think it looks good, Right.
So let me just jump in here for a second, because I totally agree with you. To me, this is thinking in terms of the long game versus the short game. So someone watching this, you're a relatively new microblading artist. You're so hungry for clients. You need a client. Where can I get models? Where can I get models? Oh my God. And you have somebody walks in your door and oh my God, they can be a model and they want something like McDonald's arches, like rainbows that start really far apart. Oh my God. And so you're torn. You feel like conflicted, like, oh my God, I need a model, but this could look like crap. And so you're going to come to that point where you feel like this inner conflict, where you have to make the decision between somebody perhaps paying you and you want the money right now and you want the customer right now and you want the customer behind your belt, or versus your long-term reflection of your work and your integrity with your brand and the work that you put out there and so on, you're going to be torn there. And so, Amanda, I see it in terms of, failure to execute properly is making that decision to give that customer what they want. Now, all of a sudden, you got a messed up situation. And then all of a sudden, that person goes home and some people are telling, what the heck did you do? Who did what? And now all of a sudden you get a negative. Now you're like spiraling in the wrong direction. You're feeling demoralized about it because like you're at the early stages. You're already facing the adversity of climbing up the hill to try to grow your business. That's hard enough as it is. And you don't need any rocks rolling down the hill, smashing you while you're trying to climb up the hill. You need to make it easy for yourself to climb up the hill. And so, yes, if you pass on somebody, it's going to hurt initially. It feels like a little bit of pain up at the front, but it's going to be
you feel good when you turn people down, like, because you know that you're doing the right thing in your heart. Because if you know that you shouldn't do their brows, you get this weird feeling, this vibe, this intuition, and you know in your heart, you're like, I should not do this. So my encouragement to you is just don't do it, And even if it's on the fence and you could have got away with it, you're going to feel really relieved that you didn't have to deal with it.
Okay, super important. Now, here's another thing as far as failure with execution. In the beginning, we're going to talk about this. I think it's the fifth thing that we're going to talk about, which is not focusing on profit too early, which so many people are making that mistake. The compensation to you in the early stages of the business is not just financial compensation. You need to be thinking about getting content for your social media and your online presence, for your website. If you don't have one, you need to have a website, but you need to present yourself as a professional online across your social media with your email, with your domain name, with the signature in your email, the way that you write, the content you put up, the pictures, the before and afters, the videos, the testimonials, all of this content, behind the scenes sort of content, all of that needs to present you as a professional, and you need a lot of it. You need a lot of it, and it needs to be current. You need to keep getting this content. So part of your compensation is not just financial compensation, it's the content that you can use that, by the way, if you get one piece of content, you should be able to take that content and chop it up and use it in lots of different ways across different platforms on your social media. And also you need referrals. So if you're missing the opportunity when the client comes in, and Amanda can talk about where these opportunities exist and how to do this, and we don't have the time to get deep into the strategies here. Some of that is actually in some of the programs that we talked about earlier. But generally speaking, you need to make sure that when you're working with your clients, that you're finding those opportunities and setting up those opportunities to be able to ask for referrals, to be able to ask for the content. And it shouldn't even be an ask after they've done it without any like pre-framing, if you will, or mentioning to them well in advance that this would be some of what you'd be looking for. Have that conversation well in advance. Like if you're offering a discount, make sure that you let them know that, hey, part of the reason why I'm offering a discount is I'm trying to grow my business and I would love it if you would help me. If you're happy with what I do for you, would it be cool with you, since I'm going to give this to you at a great discount, would you be cool with helping me? Sure, I'd be cool with helping you. How could I help you? Okay, here's how you can help me. Content from my social media and a referral or referrals to people. Maybe, publicly post that you were here, maybe tag me, maybe drop the pin, let people know you were here. Like there's so many things that they can do. So Amanda, go ahead, talk about that for a little bit.
Well, I want to preface it too, because I get so many artists that reach out to me and they message me and they go, hey, I've been doing this for 3 months or 6 months or even a year, and I'm not getting clients. And I look at their Instagram page or I go to their Facebook, they have no reviews, they have no photos. And I literally, Glenn, I should have a paragraph that's saved on my notes page on my phone that I can copy and paste in response to these messages. Because I'm like, you need reviews, you need photos, you need content. Like so this is what I ask them. I say, if you were looking to have microblading done and you went onto your Instagram or Facebook, would you choose to go there for your eyebrows? And most of the time they say no, because number one, you need to learn how to take good photos, before and after photos. You need to learn how to do the before and after grid app, the photo grid app, so they can see, oh, there's the before, there's the after. That's beautiful. That's what I want. I'm going to book with them, right? You need to have a Facebook business page. You need a great Instagram. You need to have a Google profile. You need to have platforms. And then when it comes to reviews, like Glen said, you've got to get reviews ASAP. Like, do it. Just do it. Don't be scared to ask for reviews. And the way that I like to do it is as we go through the treatment, and I'll kind of phrase this as I was starting out. So when I was in the beginning, when I was running I think it was a $299 special, for my first 30 clients, I used that dialogue just like Glen had shared. I said, hey, you know what? Like, I'm so excited because you're going to see in the next month or two, my price is going to be a lot higher, And so what my goal is, and I'm really hoping that if you're satisfied with your work, it would help out so much, because I know that you research reviews before you book beauty services, right? And they go, oh, absolutely. And I'm like, you probably looked at photos before you came and saw me, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, yes. And so you're going to go, well, do you realize how much you're going to help other people find the right artist by sharing about your experience? And not just saying that you had great brows, but really explaining like why they should come to me, and why that was so important to you, And so if you guys look up my reviews in my Yelp, paragraph reviews from people detailed on my tools, on the consult process. So don't just ask for a review, in my opinion. I like asking for more than that. And the way that I say that is I want you to share about your experience. I want you to help other people research, so that you can kind of save their eyebrows. That's kind of how I say it.
Totally. And so to summarize this, was this number 3 or number 4 we were talking about?
I think we're on number 4.
This is number 4.
Yep.
So we have one more to go.
One more.
Okay. So just real quick to sort of summarize this number 4, which is failure to execute on your services and the opportunities that are presented there. This is, Amanda gave you a great suggestion about how you could go about creating that opportunity for yourself. And you see how Amanda talks about, would you describe the way that you ask for this content and for these reviews? You actually, it looks like you're not afraid to have that conversation. You feel very comfortable making an actual conversation out of it instead of just being like, yeah, and by the way, do you mind giving me a referral?
That doesn't work very well.
No.
It doesn't. And you've got to work. You know what works really well, Glen, when you're starting out? People like to be a part of something, and they like to help people. They want to feel like they're helping you. And so the way that I ask, I get them excited. I'm like, I'm just starting out, and I did top training and everything. And so like by writing about your experience, not only are you going to help other people find me, but you're really going to help me with the grassroots and building my business. And I'm so grateful that you're willing to help me in that regard, because you're going to be a part of me starting up. Like, you're going to be a huge part of that. And they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to be a part of that. And they're excited to help you. And then when they go home, it's a more enthusiastic review. It's not just, oh, I love my eyebrows. It's like, no, I love Amanda, like that's what you want. Those are the kind of reviews that people book with you for by reading, right?
So when we're talking about the execution on your services and failing to do this is what we're talking about. Don't miss those opportunities to talk about content for your social media. Don't miss those opportunities to get them excited, and to get them excited not only about what they're going to receive, but about what you're trying to do and the fact that they could help you. Make sure you're leading off with focus on what you can give them and that they're getting a great value because you're giving them a discount on something that normally costs a lot more. Hope you guys caught that she said that in the next month or two, my prices are going to be a lot higher, creating a sense of urgency. Okay, it's a very clever sales tactic. Thank you very much, Amanda. So you guys get it. Don't miss these opportunities. If you miss these opportunities, 6 months from now, you're going to be looking back. You're going to be like, why am I still kind of at like in first gear? When you should be in like fourth and fifth gear by that time, like flying down the road with a lot of momentum. That's the difference. Don't miss those opportunities. What's number 5?
Number 5 is being focused on your profit too early in your business.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a no-no. That's a big no-no.
And it's a natural feeling too, resistance-wise, isn't it? For everybody?
I think so. I think we're all, Well, look, if you're a student of microblading, now you're certified, now you're an artist, now you've spent some more money, you've gotten educated and certified in powder brows or removal or this or that. You want to see return on that investment as quickly as possible. I totally realize that. Keep in mind, this is a real business. This is a real career that you're building for yourself. This is not a little side thing that you're doing. I referred to it before, like your side hustle. This is not a side hustle.
It's not a hobby.
It's not a hobby. It's not a side hustle. Don't treat it that way. Nobody wants to get tattoo on their face from somebody who does this part-time. Do it seriously. Now, if you're transitioning out of something else, you're going to figure out how this thing goes down and this new thing goes up, and you blend and you have to squeeze for a little while. Remember, you have to hold your breath for that 6 months. But also what goes into that is if you're thinking in terms of what can I get out of this as quickly as possible, then your heart is not just your heart, your mind, your whole thinking, your whole perspective is not in the right place. You need to be thinking about what can I do to give? How much more can I give? Look what Amanda and I are doing right here with this podcast. This is not what's in it for Glen or Amanda. This is about what's in it for our students.
Yeah.
For you, to help you guys to be successful. This is us giving. And when we give, we both understand that there's this reciprocal effect that happens, that it helps us to be successful when we put positive things out there, when we're giving great content. There's a point when it'll naturally come around and it'll be our turn. But our focus is on giving. And if you make your focus on what can I get out of it in your first 6 months, it's like trying to pull fruit off of a tree when the tree hasn't yet grown to the point that you have mature fruit coming off the tree. My next door neighbor, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, started growing a mango tree. I love mangoes. I really love mangoes, like really sweet mangoes. And so I kind of looked over the fence. How is his mango tree going? Like this? Like, how's it going over there? Because mango trees, they produce like an insane amount of anyway. So what's the big deal? Can I have like 20 or 25 mangoes? You have 5,000, but the mangoes were not ripe. They were like hard. They were like young mangoes. The tree's not mature. It needs to go through another season. So if you're trying to pull the mangoes off the tree and you want to eat those mangoes, you're not going to get good mangoes. You got to don't try to pull anything off the tree yet. Take whatever fruits do come off and reinvest it. What does that mean, practically speaking, Amanda? How can they take what's coming back from their business and instead of trying to put it in their pocket and spend it or buy this or buy that, how could they reinvest not just their money, but all the things that come back in the form of compensation?
Well, I think mindset-wise, it comes back to that W-2 mindset. Like, I work 9 to 5, I get a paycheck. And it's transactional. It's very transactional. And so most of us think transactionally. And so when you're building your company, it's not necessarily transactionally. Like you said, we really have to build into it. And so for me, Glenn knows this. I'm very frugal, and so when I spend money, it's intentional. I have researched and it's very strategic. I don't waste my money.
Can I interrupt for a second? She rides a bicycle to work, folks. And it's
no, I don't. Oh my God. I would though. I totally would if I was close enough.
Here you are. It's cold out here. Hi.
Oh my gosh. So it's okay to be frugal, but at the same time, be intentional and understand the importance of reinvesting. So number one, you need to know that it's important. So that way you understand as we talk about these things, like for me, I worked, and for a lot of you listening to this, you might relate to this a lot. I worked full time. I had a full-time job when I started training. And so for me, I subleased 2 days a week. 2 days. That was it. It kept my overhead low. And the reason I did that is number one, so I could ramp up and fill up those 2 days. But number two is my overhead was so low that I could build up my capital in a way where I could, as soon as I had enough, I was like, oh my gosh, I can get a website, a nice website now. And then I would ramp up more. And I'm like, you know what? I can launch a marketing campaign. And then I'd do a little bit more. And then I go, I'm going to train for additional services, and I'd ramp up a little more. And then I moved into a new salon. And then I ramped up even more. And now I'm building an even bigger salon. So, it's a process. And you can go about it however you want, but it's that mentality and understanding that And I want to add this too. A lot of people going into this, they spend too much on things they probably shouldn't, you know? And then it makes it a little more stressful. Wouldn't you agree that if you invest way more at the front end that's not necessary, you're kind of you feel like you can't breathe, you're suffocating a little bit. So be frugal, you know, be strategic, but also understand the value in the things that you need to grow, you know? And I know we could even do a full podcast on that. And I know that's in a lot of the programs that you've developed too. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Listen, I think we gave them so much content. I think they're watching this and their heads are exploding.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
Amanda, thank you so much. If you got value out of this, please share this podcast, like this podcast, put in the comments anything that you got out of this that could be helpful for you. Put in the comments anything that you'd like us to talk about on a future podcast. All right. We're hoping that this is helpful for you. That's why we do this. Help us share this content. Help us reach more people. Help us impact more people. Follow Amanda, Eastside Microblading.
I'm going for 5,000 followers. So excited.
Eastside.
I never thought that would happen, Glenn.
All one word, Eastside Microblading. On Instagram, you can follow us at Microblading Academy USA. And if you are interested in any of those programs that we talked about, you can find them on our website at Microblading. It's microbladingacademyusa.com. And then you'll find under training, you'll find business building programs. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. We will catch you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Adios. See ya. Peace.